everything you've ever wanted to know about the weird world of YouTube sponsorships and brand deals. Behind the scenes, this world of YouTube about how brands approach creators and how it all works really is kind of odd. And so in this video, I'm going to be joined by special guest Jefferson Graham by the magic of the internet. And we're going to talk through the things that come into our inbox, how we chat with brands, some of the weirdest products we've ever gotten. And then finally, if you're an aspiring YouTuber interested in brand deals yourself, we're going to share some tips with you about how you might negotiate this whole world. And so, Jeff, welcome to the show today.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. And for those of you that are meeting Jeff for the first time, he is the host of this channel called Photo Walks TV here on YouTube, and where he does photo walks of great cities around the world, telling you where you can get some of the best pictures and some tips about how you can get them. All right, and so the first thing I want to talk through, since the title of this is like weird world, right? Jeff, what are some of like the weirdest things maybe that have hit your inbox of people saying like, Jeff, we'd love for you to partner with you on this thing?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to assume that they're mostly scams. It's another way of one of those awful emails that's trying to get something out of you. The worst one is, we want you to be our partner. And in order to do this, you're going to click on this link and you're going to download this PDF, and you know what will happen after that. No good will come out of it.
No,
I have
no good deed goes unpunished if you click that link, for sure.
Yeah. And I've had other ones that, I mean, they're generally written by companies in Asia. They're written in bad English. And the only ones that are real that are like that, I should, first of all, I got to mention, I do have sponsors, and I have good sponsors. So we'll get to that. But the ones that come in cold calls are scams, or we would like you to review our product. We will give it to you for free. And that's the partnership, is you'll get a free tripod, or you'll get a free selfie stick. It's something practically worthless that you wouldn't care about.
Yeah, well, here, let's talk through a few of those things. And so I said we'd be sharing with you some things that hit our inbox. And here's one from my inbox of like one of the weirdest. I shouldn't say this is one of the weirdest products. Every week, every day, I get emails like this sincere invitation for a new hair product trial experience officer, where they write to me and say, "Hello, dear. How are you recently?" Of course, they don't know my name, right? They don't know my channel. Just, "Hello, dear. How are you recently? I hope everything is well. And if you have time to do the hair collaboration with us, we have some new hair arrival wigs. And we want you to be the first person that we want to work with for our new product. I think you'll look very beautiful and slay with our new hair product. Tell me which one you're interested in. Send us your shipping info." And so this is the one where you go and say, well, is this is this a scam? Is this real? I think this is genuinely real, and they genuinely want me to review a wig. But
and I think, Jeff, you should have. I think you should have. I think you should have taken the wig, because it's so ridiculous that you could have had fun saying, "You'll never, I get all these great tech products in the mail. I get travel things, and look, let's do a boxing. Let's do an unboxing right now and see what's in here. A wig."
Right.
And it's not yellow.
Maybe I should. Cottage Full of Love on the live chat says I would look great in that long brown hair. I should maybe take a whole different approach to these sponsorships. But another one that I got that we'll see here in full screen was for Pakeway pet diapers for male and female pets, where they say, "Please, friend, let me introduce you to the Pakeway pet diaper for male or female pets." And then they actually sent pictures of the pet diapers right here that you can see. There's the doggy with the pet diaper on it. Fortunately, I don't have a doggy, but I have a bunny. And so this is another one where they just like clearly don't even look at what the channels are. They just like blast these things out in hopes that, they must hit somebody who's like, "Yes, I will be an arm of your marketing department, and I will feature your pet diapers on my channel." Rob from Trip Hacks DC. He says, "Flow be the wig, Chris." Go ahead, Jeff.
in my previous job at USA Today, I was a journalist there for many years, and I would get 600 emails a day, and of those 600, 590 of them were absolute total garbage being sent out in mass, just hoping. You never know what will happen. Maybe he'll say yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I remember seeing you post some of those on Facebook and like the most awful like techno gobbledygook speak.
And
So those were always...
you know that I lived for him too, right?
Yes.
The worse, the better. Yes.
Yeah, they're. I will admit they are fun readings. And Kathy says most of these emails go directly to my spam folder. And you know, to tell you the truth, a lot of mine go directly to the spam folder too before I even see them because Google filters them out. But there's a bunch of them that make it through too. I think they're like, you know, with the world of ChatGPT, this is like the concern of these emails, that like a real easy way to tell that they're fake is often how poorly they're written. But like when people start figuring out they can use the AI to write well-written ones, it will be harder to weed out the absolute scams from the legit things. But we'll talk about the scams in a little bit. But I wonder, let's talk now about like, in addition to these ones that are just completely ridiculous, you know, what are the most unique inquiries that have come into you, Jeff, or that you reached out to that like led to something or didn't?
Well, again, most of the ones that have come through have been, you know, please review my product, and we'll send you something free, or obvious scams. In my own case, I have three great sponsors. I've had Flipboard, which is a magazine app. I've had SmugMug, which is a photo company, and I have Mylio Photos, which is photo software. So I've worked with all three of them. Each one of them came from me calling them and asking them to be a sponsor. So that's pretty much is the best way to do it. Now, there may be people watching who don't have contacts. I have also made cold contacts to other companies, and they said, nah, we don't care. And it's okay. You know, you make your best pitch, and you hope, and it'll either work out or not. In my case, I have three companies whose products I love, so it worked out really well, and it jives with my audience. I'm going to give you my best tip, though, for right now, which
Great.
we can explore some more. My best tip is that we all have products that we love. We all use things that we really like, and just write honestly about it, whether that be your newsletter, whether that be Facebook, whether that be Twitter, whether that be Instagram. If there's something that you really like, write about it, and odds are the marketing department will probably see it. Certainly, if you write about it enough times, if you bought a new iPhone case that you love, if you bought a accessory, whatever, they will see it, and you'll make a contact that way. And they may reach out to you and say, hey, we really love that. Do you mind if we retweet it or repost it or something like that? And that will start a conversation. That is, I think, my best tip. What's yours, Chris?
Yeah, that's a great tip, Jeff. And I think this is the like, I guess related to tagging, posting on Instagram, right? It's like on YouTube, it's really hard to tag brands. And so like the way to get brands to notice is then like either posting on Twitter or posting on Instagram. And so if I want somebody to notice that I exist, I might do a similar thing, right? I might be like, take a screenshot or take a picture that I posted. If I post on Instagram, say, check out my video, that then they'll find it. But I think even in addition to just particular brands, it's like if there's something you want to get into, it's almost like just make a video about even something if it's related. So the story I tell about this is the snorkel review I did. If I ever wanted to start a snorkel review channel, I could have, because I reviewed this snorkel that was like the full face mask snorkels when they were kind of like a new thing. Like I had to order it from the UK. I made a video, and then for weeks I got companies saying, will you review our snorkel? And I'm like, I could have made a whole industry of like Chris's snorkel reviews, which I didn't. But it's one where like when you have one, then other brands will be like, hey, that's cool. You reviewed a camera, you reviewed a suitcase, or you reviewed a gardening tool, like you can review ours too. Well,
you have
ahead,
reviewed suitcases, right? You've reviewed suitcases. Have any of them ever called you and said, let's sponsor the show?
Some have been sponsored. In particular, I love to do them as giveaways, and so that's actually like another one I'll be doing. There was a brand who will remain nameless at this point because I don't have the suitcase yet. I don't know if I like it yet, so I don't get any free publicity yet about suitcases. But to be like, Chris will send you a suitcase, and you can give one away on the live stream too. And so that way, like, I have this like, this is one of these where like if it's a problem or not a problem about like, you might say, can one man have too many suitcases? And I'll tell you, at this point, I've received too many suitcases. Suitcases take up a lot of space, but it's one where like I hope that by at least getting them and reviewing them, it's like a service that I can offer, as opposed to, because most of us don't have the opportunity to like really spend a couple $100s and try multiple suitcases, right? And so I figure if I'm in a place that I can, then I can make some interesting content. But on the note of most unique, one that I want to share here was this email that I got to my inbox, which was a company that said, we are working alongside this company called Go Ventures, a leading creative agency, and we're looking for brand representatives, content creators to collaborate with Cafe Rio, which is one of our customers. They're specifically looking for food lovers and bloggers, and can we chat to know more? And what was interesting about this inquiry is it wasn't for me to make branded content about Cafe Rio here in Yellow Productions. It was to know if I'd be willing to go to Cafe Rio multiple times a month to make short videos that they could feature on their channel. And then it was, Chris, you can either make them yourself or we can have a camera crew come out to film you eating Cafe Rio.
So free food and get a little money, and you said yes, I hope?
It did not get past, oh, you sound like an interesting candidate, we'll pass you on to the next level. They're definitely going to be calling you. I'm still waiting for the phone to ring. Yeah.
Now, there was a service that was called FameBit that was bought by Google that would let people like you and me reach out to brands directly via this website. They'd say, we need someone to make a video for us. And you'd say, fine, I'll do it for $500 or you can sponsor me. I don't know if Google still has it. Do you?
Google, when they bought FameBit, they changed this thing called Brand Connect. And then they sunsetted Brand Connect, but they recently just like I got an email a week ago that says like, Chris, you've been invited to our new Brand Connect program. So other than like a landing page that says I'm in it, and because I was in there once they bought FameBit, and I never got contacted by a brand or inquiry through it. So it'll be interesting to see if the new one does. But there's a setting now. If you are in Brand Connect on YouTube, you can set what price you want to show to brands to say like, oh, the minimum for me to make a video is this. So that's a new feature that's there. Did you ever do anything with FameBit?
No. When I tried, I didn't have 10,000 subs at that point, and that was the minimum. And once I hit it, it seemed like Brand Connect was gone.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the new one comes back. Rob says, have you considered applying for the SeatGeek Ambassador Sponsorship Program? Rob, I'm not familiar with the SeatGeek Ambassador Sponsorship Program.
Me either.
All right, we might have to look into that. Or Rob, you can tell us more about it. But interesting perspective where Jeff says he reaches out. All of his sponsorships have been Jeff reaching out to brands. In my case, I've sort of take the other approach that I just my communications is like what comes in my inbox. And so something that actually led further than what happened with Cafe Rio was an inquiry that I got related to this video that I made. I made this video a few years back on the best arcade in Orange County, California, round one. It's a Japanese arcade. And then in Japan, there was a TV show, morning show, making like a 15, 20-minute morning television show, variety show episode about round one. And in particular, round one, big in Japan, expanding in the US. They wanted to film a bit in Southern California with a American host to show the Japanese audience what an American round one looks like. And so this actually turned into a Japanese film crew and director coming out from Tokyo to fly out literally for the day to record me walking around the round one in Temecula, California, which was then subtitled in Japanese. And I got paid like a day rate to be featured on the show. And honestly, just the like experience of doing it was just it was interesting to be talent, and I really felt like, in particular, talent with a Japanese speaking director and then a translator. You know, like if you've seen the movie Lost in Translation, it was definitely that. You know, like do this scene, and then I hear some feedback. I'm like, what did they say? What do they want me to do? You know, more intensity. But you know, I find on a lot of these things, it's like 10 calls or 10 emails or something before like it actually turns into an interesting partnership.
Yeah, my latest sponsorship has been in discussion for 4 months,
Yeah, right.
and
They take a long time.
finally,
Yeah,
yeah, finally finalized this week.
yeah. Well, very good, very good. So that's a good like estimate. So this is I was watching a video by Tom Buck. He does like camera reviews, and he did a bit about sponsorships, and he says his preference is not to make sponsored videos as a general statement because he says they take a lot of work and they take a long time and they take a lot of energy, and so all things considered, I'd rather not make one unless it's for the right reason.
Well, the other side of the coin is I'm about to leave on July 2nd for a 30-day travel road trip where I will be filming several new episodes of Photo Walks TV as well as doing some other stuff. It's expensive to be out there on the road. If I sleep cheap, I'm looking at $6,000 in hotel costs.
Yeah.
And that's if I stays cheap. I mean, I went to a friend. I said, I'd like to stop in the Boulder. Can you recommend an affordable place to stay? And he says, well, you know, it's kind of funky, but it's kind of cool. And he gave me the name, and I checked out. Their opening rate is $375 a night. Opening rate, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's expensive.
yeah. So the sponsorship will really help. And I found that sometimes they really like when the host does the ad, which I do in the middle. But now I've gotten to the point where I think that if I do the ad in the middle, they'll stop watching immediately. So I noticed that other people will put the ad right at the front before you get into the content. But you can't be so long that they'll click it before you get to the content. So I've been trying to do like 20-second ads where just zipping right through and hitting the main points in the hope that they'll stay tuned and then get to the content. And I think it's working. I think I've got it down now. It's, you know, in a perfect world, the sponsor would just have the host. You go on and on and on about how much he or she loves the product, but you're also in the YouTube world where every second is going to count against you, and the odds that they'll even get halfway through is always tough, right, Chris?
Yeah. Well, and I think this is you know, the interesting thing about I think the ad read and the how long do you do it or where do you do it is also a little bit about what the brand is looking for. You know, it's like, is the brand looking for people to click the link, or is the brand looking for brand recognition? And then what's the integration, you know? And so like, I feel like a lot of companies or brands that are like new to the YouTube space, what they're interested in is they'll say, we would like you to make a video about our thing. They're like, I don't know, people would probably rather watch a different video than what you asked for. Like, they might rather watch a video not about the thing. So if this is about a hotel, you know, do they want just the hotel review, or do they want the experience in Singapore that has the hotel in it or something like that, right? And so, like, what's the more interesting video to make? And I think that there is, like, a natural way to integrate it. But then at the same time, you know, what I've also heard, you know, from a lot of people is to be like, well, Chris, you know, we understand it costs you money to make these things. And if we have to skip the ad, we will. And I do that. Like, there's a lot of podcasts I listen to that integrate a 1-minute ad. And I know they're a 1-minute ad, and the ad roll comes up and I click 6 times on the right side of the screen. But I generally, at least for me as a viewer, I generally don't find myself abandoning videos at this point for an ad read. I'm curious, for folks on the live stream, what's your perspective? You know, do you prefer the ad? If there is a integrated ad, do you prefer it up front? Do you prefer it in the middle? Do you prefer it at the end? Do you skip through it? If somebody reads one, are you out? Are you like, hey, I understand that this video costs a lot of money to make? So J Dot says, I don't trust sponsored reviews. I think sponsored reviews are generally one where it's like, yeah, if it's a sponsored review, is the review that objective?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going to talk to you from both sides of my hat.
Yeah.
I totally agree with J Dot. I think they're awful and I hate them, and I don't trust any of them. But now I'll give you the other side. Most of the people that do a sponsored review get an advanced look at the product before it's come out, and they're showing you the product before it came out. And if, yeah, fine, I'll watch the video. I'll look at it with a grain of salt. One of my sponsors asked me to do a review, an honest review, and I just said at the beginning, I said, take it with a grain of salt. They are my sponsor, but I'm going to give you my straight talk. And I said, here's what's good, here's what's not good. In a perfect world, would it not have been a sponsored review? Definitely. But, YouTube does not pay millions of dollars to most of us to make these things. And we have costs, and, gear costs a lot of money. As I told you, travel costs a lot of money, and you got to make it up somewhere.
Yeah. Rob says, I abandon videos all the time when the ad hits. I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't have to watch ads. I don't want it. Kathy says, I don't see the actual ads because I pay for YouTube Premium. Alfredo says, I skip them. And Alex says, I don't mind the ads, just need to be a good transition between topics. And then Larry says, does anybody know what Chris is drinking? Chris today is drinking the Brew Doctor Kombucha, which is not sponsoring this video, but I picked this up at Costco the other day. This is Island Mango Passion Fruit Green Tea. It's a nice, fruity, bubbly flavor. Jeff, are you drinking anything there on the side today?
Nothing. How did you find it?
I found different Costco's all stock a different kombucha. Like, kombucha's been a product they started to sell now, and so like when you go to different Costco's, they have different brands, they have different flavors, and so when I go to different Costco's, I actually go look in the refrigerator section to see which one they have. If they have a new thing, I might want to take home.
Admire the big TVs, and I always want to take them home, but I don't.
Yeah, for sure. I always want to bring back like 3 or 4. Yeah. Just a couple more comments on whether people skip or watch the ads. Boomer Tuber says, I have to trust the reader to even listen to it, then make a quick decision as to whether I want to listen to it. So it's me. Laura says, I prefer ads in the middle, but I heard that 10 seconds is a sweet spot for watching ads, so I'll watch the 10-second for the most part. Yeah. And so on I think to Jeff's point about sponsored reviews can be worthwhile, but you do have to take them a grain of salt to know that most people, like, if the product has a fatal flaw, the sponsor review might not tell you what the fatal flaw is, but the sponsor review probably gives you a good idea of what that thing is in general. Like, is it even in the category of something you'd want? If it's a new camera, if you're looking for a flip-out screen, does it have one or not, right?
Yeah, if you're watching a sponsored review of a new product, you at least get to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that you don't have a lot of stores selling this stuff anymore, and there's a lot of people who just don't get to see it. Insta360 is notorious for going to bloggers, and saying, here's the product, and we're going to pay you money. Just go do a piece, and you're not going to see this product in the stores. It's going to be very hard to find them. So I think it does do a service, and there's some people who when I left USA Today, I almost wanted to start a channel called Negative Reviews, just to be the flip side and say the honest truth. And I'm going to give you the honest truth about all this stuff. But then how am I going to get the product? Am I going to go out and go to Best Buy and I'm going to buy all these products? Well, I'm not. And I couldn't afford to do that. You have to hope that they're going to send it to you. And, this is what you have to deal with.
Yeah, well, and so Tom Buck, the guy I mentioned earlier who does camera reviews, that was the epiphany he took at some point where he was like, originally his view was he was going to buy all the gear that he was going to show. And then he's like, but then there's a lot of things that people would ask me about that I don't have a spare $2,000 to go buy the thing, and I would otherwise never use it. But if the company's willing...
He can't afford to buy all the products. He just can't.
That's the point, right? I can't afford to buy all of it. I don't want it. I don't need it. But if they're willing to send it for a review copy, is that a service to people who want to know what I think about it, right? And so I think there's also there are definitely the reviews of Sony does you get the camera, but you don't get to keep it. You have to send it back, and then the Insta360 ones
most of the companies are that way.
Yeah.
Most of the companies are that way. And sometimes they'll only give you a day to even look at it.
That's yeah. You got to come and see it there, right? So one for me that one of these emails that resulted in like I think a really great video series was an email that I got from a talent agency in New York City, and they said they were working on behalf of the Fukushima promotion department, and in advance of the Tokyo Olympics, they were looking for YouTubers to come to Fukushima. This was not, they were like flat out to say, we don't have a budget to pay, but if you're willing to come to Fukushima Prefecture and present a story about Fukushima that isn't about the nuclear disaster, because you go on YouTube and everything that's Fukushima is about the nuclear disaster and not about what a great place it is to go travel and the snow and these sorts of things, they're like, then we would love to bring you here. Which included paying for us to be there, included paying for a driver, a translator, and a production coordinator who helped like arrange locations we went to and restaurants we went to and like access that we would have never had otherwise. And so I think this video series resulted in a like authentic depiction of Fukushima, even though we would have not, right? Would we go there again? Like, we actually really enjoyed it, but it wouldn't have made our list otherwise if it wasn't like, please come here and we'll help you come here.
And the benefit is that your audience may not have even considered Fukushima, and you're exposing your point of view and you're showing it to your audience, and that's a positive.
Yeah, indeed. And this was, by the way, Kathy from Totally Diamond Paintings points out that's the hello OC Girl right there. This is the rare look of OC Girl. In this case, we were on the Fukushima news station where they followed us around while we were creating our YouTube content. So this was a little bit of an interview we were doing with the Fukushima TV.
Now, one email I got that doesn't compare to you, but it was, we enjoyed your video about Hawaii, and we have a little inn here, and we thought it'd be really great if you would come and make a video about our inn. And I said, great, I'd love to come, and I'm coming anyway. And how many nights are we talking about? Just get me a few nights and I'll be happy. And so that's what I did. Yeah. And that was good.
Nice. I need to look forward to I need to look back on it. I need to find your in review for Hawaii. So Jeff, send me the link to that later. All right. So in the notion of scams, I want to share what some of these like scam emails look like that end up in our inboxes. And some of them look pretty good, and some of them are like pretty laughable. So here's one of the laughable scams. This is one that I received. Subject: Samsung Partner Program, from Brad. And I want to point out his email address. It's Brad Davies
at that's the giveaway.
Yeah, centrum.cz. So Czech Republic. By the way, I am half Czech, for those who don't know. And I'm sad to say that a lot of scam emails come from the Czech Republic. I have no relation to the Czech scammers. And for all I know, they might not even be Czech, but they might be using these like friendly scam email providers. So good day. Our company is called Samsung. And we really liked your channel, and we'd like to cooperate with you. If you haven't heard, we are one of the world's major technology leaders. Our products are known all over the world. You've probably heard of us. Once again, we're the Samsung company. Our company's very well known, and we'd like to, the cooperation is going to be very profitable for both you and us. We need to promote the Samsung S22 Ultra line of phones. And if you're interested in our offer, then write to us. We look forward to your letter. Regards, Business Samsung. And in these emails, there's never a phone number. There's never, go ahead.
You wouldn't be calling them anyway, but the giveaway is the giveaway. The first thing is the email address.
Yes.
If it doesn't say Samsung.com, you're not going to even deal with it. I can say that I've heard from other small companies that want to be partners, Amazon, Spotify, and you go, oh really? How nice. And of course it's not.
Yeah. Well, and this is like at least one of the things, to me, a hallmark of, I wouldn't call them anyway, but a hallmark of a scam email are people who, they don't sign their emails with like a business signature. Like a traditional business email has like, here's my name, here's my title, here's my phone number, here's my address. And it's like, I noticed in one that you shared with me, Jeff, from Coral Studio here. What did you want to mention about this one?
Oh, it's just is it from Estonia?
Yes.
I remember Coral from, 15, 20 years ago? Do you remember, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
It was one
Mm-hmm.
of the programs you used to edit video. I haven't heard from him in years. That it was Coral and it was Pinnacle. So I didn't even know they're alive, and I doubt that they are alive. We liked your professionalism and your potential. Thank you very much. So I think in there's probably a link for me to download the PDF. I'm not sure, but I think there is. Yeah, it's
Right,
crazy.
and so as Jeff says, they have a PDF or a Google Drive link or something, which really it's a virus, and so they're
Yeah.
like hoping that people want their money, and they'll, so related to money, these are ones I get too, where like they're very upfront about how much money they're willing to offer.
Yeah,
So
five
here's the
thousand dollars. Right.
that's what this says.
Yeah.
We're ready to offer you a $5,000 for like a 3-minute review of our catalog, and then some other details. And please let me know if you want to talk more detail. A little signature here, his title.
Yeah, I
But
got it. It's off subject, but I got an email. You may have seen it, but I was offered $75 million for the PhotoWalks TV channel,
did you
and I go, haha.
did you take it? 75 million. I
No,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And if that's not bad enough, they wrote me 5 times, just circling back, just wanted to check in. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. I have a few funny emails queued up about the circling back for 5 times, but like it is one where like I feel like there must be some class that email marketers or email scammers take, which is like the way you do this is you get an email list and then you write out a set of 5 different emails for people, and then you just schedule them out to send one week after another. And I feel like I've gotten emails from, and these are probably like legitimate brands, but like for months, a weekly email that's like, Chris, did you read my last email? Just checking in. How about this? Is it you or is it me? What did I say to offend you? I find the ones interesting where like they get to the point where they're like, Chris, you're ignoring us. We'll offer you $100 to take a phone call. Like those are ones I've received. Yeah, I'm like,
Hmm.
I could make a new video too, right? So,
Yeah.
but this is another like telltale scam here. I'm gonna start with us on the bottom, so you can see the beginning of this subject. Offer to collaborate with Movavi Video, and so they got
Oh,
like they got a domain.
Rastner,
yes, they got a
Graham.
domain, Movavi.site. So they got a domain that was like, okay, it's not the Czech Republic, but the telltale on this one is at the end in these capital letters is not to respond to their email, but it's better to write on WhatsApp. There you're going to get an answer faster. Please read the terms and send us a number back on WhatsApp. That's how we want to talk to you. And, of course, anybody who works for an actual brand is happy to talk to you however way it is, even if it's like by carrier pigeon. they'll be happy to talk. Kathy says, I'm having a lot of laughs with all these emails. I laugh when I read these emails. I'll show them
Yeah.
to OC Girl, and I'll be like, can you believe somebody wants me to review pet diapers? I should start that.
Wigs,
Wigs,
wigs.
that's right. Productions,
Yeah.
wigs all the time. This one is interesting. This email I got, the subject is information from YouTube, and if you notice on the to line there, it's like to everybody and their mother.
Everybody.
But
Yeah.
but the mark that's in the middle, that's actually Mark Wiens, that has the like multi-million subscriber food channel. So I was in like a good group here that they were sending this to. But then literally the email down here is, hello blogger. Our company has an advertisement to cooperate with you. Please contact me on Telegram. Like, do people respond to these? That's what I want to know. Does anybody
Yeah.
respond?
Yeah. Of course they do. There's always somebody out there who is responding to stuff, and that's why they send them out. Because if you send out 10 million, and if 0.1% say yes, then they've done what they have to do,
Right.
right?
And that's their one lead. It's now a different lead instead of the telephone call scam.
Now,
So,
I didn't know that WhatsApp was a scam place. So if I make a phone call on WhatsApp to this person, I then have now destroyed my phone, basically.
No, it's just that they like to operate on WhatsApp as the way that they call you. So you won't get the virus immediately, but they're like, they don't have a phone or they don't want to, they find WhatsApp to be less traceable to them as a way to communicate.
Okay.
And Alex says, yeah, WhatsApp and Telegram are all scams. Kathy says, delete, delete, delete. So some interesting ones on the notion that aren't scams. And we talked through reviews earlier. And so here's an example of what a review email might look like. This is from Ceramonic. I know Rob from Trip Hacks DC uses Ceramonic microphones, and so they're legit microphones, and they're a legitimate company. And so Ceramonic says, hey, we've got this wireless mic, and if you'd like to request a sample, you can. And you can read this full media pack. Go ahead.
This is a press release. So
yes.
this is not a sponsorship request. This is a press release that's going out to everybody, and they hope that you'll click a button and you'll review it, and you'll get it and then send it back.
For sure.
And it's from China. Good luck. I mean, how many people could review microphones? You know?
Yes. Not that many. So on the note of being from China, one thing that I want to talk through here is I want to talk through like the why about making this video. So like, why did I decide to make this video? And in the thumbnail, you saw there was a dog with the diapers. We talked through that either, but then you saw the Taiwan flag. So what's the Taiwan flag? So I got a little bit of a story here. And so my story here, and so I'm going to take the camera for a moment, Jeff, as I tell my little story here. Right. So my story here is there was this company that for right now will remain nameless because I don't want to put them on report, but they were offering some noise canceling headphones for review. And I said like, hey, that'd be an interesting product to review because it's a travel channel, noise canceling headphones, well-known brand. And we got like 27 emails into the dialogue. And then they're like, Chris, just one last thing before we can ship your headphones out for you to review. This video that you made about Taipei, we're going to need you to unlist this video. Because our public affairs department has determined that this flag is very controversial. So please let us know when you've unlisted that video so that we can send you these headphones to review. To which, of course, I told them very politely that they can go ahead and pound sand for like a number of different reasons. For many people know OC Girl is from Taiwan and is very proud of the Taiwanese flag. But number two is no brand with a new video gets to tell me what to do about a video that I made 5 or 7 years ago. You know, it's a very like, it's one of these to be like, wow, it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. And clearly other people will say like, okay, no problem, so that I can get those headphones. But you know, that's, it's shaking your head, right? To be like, I am definitely not a tool of their marketing department at all.
Yeah. Now, I'll give you a story. It's not on sponsorship, but I recently did an episode in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm running around Columbus, Ohio, and what's the biggest campus in Columbus, Ohio? But the Ohio State University.
Okay.
And one of these, I met a local photographer there, and she said, "Let's go over to Ohio State." And I said, "Great." And then she made the mistake of telling Ohio State that we were going to shoot there. I shoot everything on the iPhone. I don't run around with a big crew. It's very low key. And they said, well, he's going to have to fill out this form first before we'll let him on the campus. And we need to see the video and approve it before it's posted.
Right.
And to which I said, I can live without Ohio State, and I'll get my shot on the other side of the street. I'll be just fine. And that's what we did.
Yeah. Now, I definitely think, right, so to that note, right, about brands or places who say, like, I need to review it before you post it. And then in that case, it'd be like, never mind. That's okay. You know, because these videos are my own, and they're not yours. Like, if you want your video, then you can go ahead and, like, do that on your channel, you know? And so that's why I say, like, perfect partnerships. You know, one that was a great partnership for me was the Central California series that I did, which was sponsored by the Central California Tourism Board, along with California tourism, as long as the tourism departments of 5 cities in California Central Valley that I stopped at along the way. And they each like
Great series too.
thank you very much. Yeah, and I hope that like a lot of, it was like showing people almond blossoms and things where like people just don't go. I hope to develop new content of it. But it was a partnership where they didn't want to review the content. It was like, Chris, go to these places, make your video. We want the video that you want to make. And in that case, that's the video I want to make. Just highlight these places to people,
And they paid you in nuts, right? They gave
That's
you
right.
all
Oh
the
my
nuts
God.
you'd ever want for the rest of your life.
I will tell you, when we went to the Blue Diamond Almond Company, I did leave with this. I still have almonds from that trip. That was like 2 years ago. So it's a inordinate amount of almonds.
And on partnerships, I should say, Chris and I did work together on several episodes in San Diego. Now, that's a different story. I said, Chris, look at this before I publish it. Let me know if I got anything wrong or should make any changes. Because once you post it on YouTube, there's no going back. You can't re-edit it and resubmit it. It's done. And so that is a consideration. I just don't want any company telling me or organization telling me what I can and cannot do.
Yeah, that's great. Muhammad asks if I've ever done a partnership that I absolutely regret. Spill the tea. So Jeff, I'm going to open that one up to you first, and then I'll share my thoughts.
I like the people that I do stuff for. I won't name them, but they wanted me to do some quote unquote promotional videos that would impede on my editorial expertise and, my reputation. I said, look, I'll make the videos. I will not use any adjectives. I will not say great or I love or anything like that. I would just say, this is cool. This is how it works. And that was our compromise. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's great. I see a lot of questions coming in now, and so I'm formally going to move us to Q&A time with this teaser here. Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer. All right, so by the question mark spinning in the corner, it is question time. So if you got a question and we haven't answered it already, go ahead and drop it in the chat with a question mark. Sierra Outdoors says, do either of you see any correlation between sponsored content and low engagement negative impact to your channel's unsubscribes?
In my case, I only have more subscribers since I've had sponsors as opposed to less. And then the other thing that we didn't talk about is that when you tweet and Instagram and all that stuff, your sponsors will repost your stuff as well. So it actually helps to get the word out there. So no problem for me. How about you?
Yeah. I have not, but I also think I like to think that I haven't sold out to the man. And by that, I feel like sometimes people will say like, oh, well, if you do a brand dealer sponsorship, you've sold out to the man. And I think if they're, like my view is I want everything I do to be something that I'm interested in, that I think y'all would be interested in, that's like a genuine, like this is an interesting thing that I want to share with you, an interesting place that I want to share with you. And I don't particularly want to share cryptocurrency with you or things like that. And so, I think this is one where like when I hear from a lot of YouTubers that are in places where they're like, I really needed the money and I really needed it right now. Because again, as Jeff says, like it does cost money to run a YouTube channel, and people who particularly like if they like quit their day jobs early and dive in full steam, I think they have a tendency to regret more things because they were like, I just needed to get there paying the bills. And I think there are some creators that have seen a backlash, but it's when they don't fully investigate the company, or it's not one that they believe in. The greatest, the one I thought was interesting lately was these, what's the name of it? It's like something titles. There was this like company that was offering you the title of like Sir or Lord in Scotland. And it was like a whole bunch of YouTubers were sponsored by it. And then somebody did a video like debunking how it's like, it's a scam, that like the title that they offer you, it's not a real title, and they tell you these things in the fine print, but like, you're not really a lord because you don't really own land.
Well, I think that the sponsor has to work with what your channel is. If I'm doing cannabis, alcohol, diapers, male diapers, if I'm doing Viagra, etc., none of that works. If I have a
Right.
travel photography channel and I'm talking about back up your photos on SmugBug, or use Mylio to look at your photos across multiple devices, or I'm talking about sharing photos on Flipboard, that all works, right?
Indeed. OC Girl, my wife, says, I guess the real purpose for the thumbnail of this video is to make it easier to deter other suspicious sponsors. Right. So certainly if there's anybody who says I can't show the Taiwan flag, this video is very recent, and so they'll see it and won't contact in the beginning. I think it's another one too, where like I want to be open and upfront about all the things that we've talked about, so that brands won't say like, Chris, can you just read that? Can you hold this product and just read it? Could you do that for me? Thanks. That'd be great. Alfredo Solo Travel says, do you have an agent or manager? Jeff?
Nope. Just
No.
me.
Yeah. I also do not have, I wouldn't say an agent. Now, who I introduced to y'all a couple live streams ago, Yusaku, who's been helping me with editing, doing a great job on this channel. He's also taken some of the intro calls and initial email dialogue from some of these brands just to like try to get us through. Are they somebody that we want to work for? Are they not? Because as Jeff said, it can take 4 months to go from beginning to end. And so I've appreciated a little bit of help on that front end just to like weed out the, hay from
One
the
more
haystack.
thing that
Yeah.
I want to mention is one of the companies that sponsors me, they sponsored me, then the sponsorship, it ended, and I didn't call them and say, hey, it's over, would you want to renew, blah, blah, blah. I just went on with my life or whatever. And then a few months later, I said, hey, could I come say hi? I'm going to be in the Bay Area. Love to come by and say hi. Here's what I'm doing. I'd love you to renew. It's okay, great. I asked, they said yes. They weren't going to call me and say, let's renew. They were waiting for me to ask the question. And you could go there and say, well, they're probably not going to do it. They're probably interested in doing something else. I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. You can go through all that stuff or just spit it out. And the worst that could happen is they'll say, yeah, I don't think so. But
Yeah.
on the other side of the coin, they might say, sure, what do you need?
They could say yes. They
Right?
could say yes.
Yeah.
Sean says, how do you make YouTube videos without sponsors?
Yeah. You make them without sponsors, and you get the ad revenue from YouTube, which is peanuts, and you hope to sell some merchandise, which doesn't usually happen, and you hope that people will do super stickers and super chat and all that sort of stuff, and it's hard. Or you can get your videos in other places as well, and hope that something magical will happen there. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is, I think like anybody who starts a YouTube channel generally starts from a place of not sponsored videos because, well, you're just starting, so you don't have any sponsors. You don't have anybody that reaches out to you. I think that to the point about like when do people regret it is when they bring on sponsors too early. They're not the right kind of sponsors. But then Laura here says, I was not aware that some of your videos were sponsored. Chris, I saw the almond series, and like that's my goal is not to hide it from you. In there, I say it was produced in cooperation with the Central California Tourism Board, which was the wording that when I say I don't say things, right, I'm like, what words do you want me to say? And so in that case, there was a set of words that I said about the cooperation from California Tourism and Central Valley. But my goal is for you to not think they were sponsored. That's my goal. And I don't mean that I want to hide it from you, right? But to be like, this was just a good video. And I think we have this aversion to be like, I don't want to sponsor because it makes the video bad. But like Casey Neistat was actually one of the people that did an Insta360 sponsorship for their new gimbal.
Flow?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it was actually like a really cool video that he did. And I only realized like halfway in, then he's like, oh, and I recorded this whole video on the Insta360 Flow,
Yeah, and in a situation like that, they're going to contact you. I don't know how much they all got paid, but they clearly got paid something. They said, we're going to give you an early look, and then they're going to be available to walk you through all the things the product can do in a way that the non-sponsored person is just not going to have access to. They're
Right.
certainly not ahead of time.
Yeah. question here, does this mean that all sponsored posts are biased? Are the videos being reviewed by them before posting? Yeah, and so, Jeff shakes his head because, that's a, no, they're not all biased, right? It certainly depends on the YouTube. You gotta trust the people you trust or not trust the people that you trust. And then the videos being reviewed by them, there will be brands that will say, or as part of the deal, I want to review this before you post it.
Yeah, that's not my deal.
Yeah, that's right. And so the only level that I will get into that conversation, so with like Fukushima or Central California, as Jeff said, like I may send it to them to be like, if I mispronounced any, like if I misrepresented anything, please let me know. Or if there's a section that you want me to delete, please let me know. But comments were so light. So, this is Nick says, Chris is sponsored by Nintendo, so he can use the question block. It's not the exact same shading as the question block, I'll have you point out, so it's a little bit different. It's a question mark, it's a different font. There we go.
Where did you get that question mark? Where did you pull it from? How did you get it above your head?
Yeah, so in this software in vMix that I use, you can do like overlays and all these different things. And so one of the things you can create in vMix is a little spinny little graphic. And so it's not really a box that I put in.
I'm gonna have to try that. I use Ecamm. I'm gonna have to try that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Somebody says it's my Halo. It is my Halo. Right, so the scam that we were talking about. Alex said, established titles. I've heard so many ads for them. Don't blame the talent for getting scammed in this one. Yeah, and I don't blame the talent for getting scammed for this one either. It's one that probably sounded pretty good, but as it turned out, wasn't necessarily the world's most legit company. Okay, Tamala says, you may have already talked about this, but do you get to choose who has a YouTube ad entered on your channel, or are those ads just randomly placed? Jeff.
Randomly placed. I don't even know what ads are in there because I don't see them. You just click a button. Do you want to be monetized? Yes. Do you have anything bad in your video? No. And then they run. I don't see my ads. Chris, do you see your ads?
I do not see what companies place ads, but as a creator, we can choose what types of ads we want to run, and by what types of ads I mean mid-roll ads, pre-roll ads, end-roll ads. So where do the ads run? And then at some level, there are some adult-oriented ads of gambling and some of these things that you can opt into being shown on your channel or not. That's it's deep buried in the settings someplace. But you can't say I let Pepsi advertise on my content or something like that. And then there's a YouTube and Facebook both have this, where they have some set of channels that they deem friendly channels, friendly channels that they give to advertisers that advertisers can buy into the friendly channel list, because YouTube or Facebook has deemed them if you advertise here, it's good. And then in that case, both YouTube and Facebook charge the advertisers a premium to advertise on that channel.
Okay, well, I'm friendly. I think you're friendly.
Yeah, I think so. And on Google, you can't really tell whether you're in that program or not. But at least on Facebook, at one point, I did get the notification to be oh, you're now in this program. So I'm oh, cool, that's good. I don't swear all that much. So Alfredo Solo Travel says,
never swear.
That's good. That's good. Many financial YouTubers got really screwed when FTX went bankrupt. Yeah, I was listening to an interview by, what's his name? He did the book 4 Hour Work Week. Jeff, I'm sure you probably know his name. You know the book, The 4 Hour Work Week, at least, right? So,
I've heard the title.
Yeah, right. So he does a general business interview podcast, and he looked at his analytics, and his most popular shows were the ones he did where he interviewed crypto people. And, somebody said to him oh, well, those did so well for you. You should double down and do more of those. And he's I don't want to become a crypto show. I'm I'm glad those did well, but I want people to come to me for other things than just that. Jeff, have you looked at things you've done and said this did really well, but then you said, I don't want to do more of those things because that's not really what I want to do?
No, because 80% of what I do is travel videos about places I'd love to go to, or so those are all places I wanted to go to. I do some camera reviews and some other iPhone related and mobile photography stuff. I would rather be doing more travel stuff, but it's really hard if you're not traveling. You sit down and you do something else, and
Yeah.
got to keep the channel growing, right, and going.
And Meritocratic Mafia says the name of that person is Tim Ferriss. I love being able to do that on a live stream, and it's like the hive mind, right? So thank you very much, Meritocratic Mafia, Tim Ferriss, indeed. Muhammad says, as a content creator, do you think YouTube Premium is necessary for ads-free from both consumer and content creator point of view?
I will say that my $10 a month, if that's what I'm paying for YouTube Premium, is the best $10 that I spend for any subscription, because it comes with YouTube Music as well. And you're going to subscribe to some music service. They're all the same, basically. They all have the same songs, except YouTube has more, because they have live recordings and TV appearances and things like that. And so I get to enjoy YouTube without the ads, and I get the music for whatever everybody else is paying for Spotify and Apple Music. When I get into bed every night, I turn on YouTube and I watch clips, and that's what I do every night. So I get a lot out of my YouTube experience, and that's just as a consumer.
I also have YouTube Premium because I like the ad-free watching experience. Meritocratic Mafia says, do you receive more money from YouTube Premium or viewers watching ads?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll answer this in two ways, which is I think we receive more money from people watching ads than we do from YouTube Premium. Now, that's like a per viewer thing, I think. I will tell you in aggregate, I know I receive more money from people watching ads than I do from YouTube Premium. Like in the analytics, you can see this much of your revenue was generated from YouTube Premium watchers, and this much was from people watching ads. It's more people watching ads. I think the percentage of people that have YouTube Premium is significantly less than the people who just watch for free.
Right.
Rob says, YouTube Premium is worth every penny as a viewer. A video creator gets a better cut from those viewers too. So Rob says that it's a win-win, that we actually do get more per view. So Rob, thank you very much for that. And that's why Rob, he's a big math nerd. Rob, I hope you don't mind if I call you a math nerd. I consider myself a nerd. Like, I really resonate with the Nerds movie. So that's a compliment rather than an insult. So thank you for that. We'll take this last question here, and then we'll go to the giveaway. Sierra Outdoors says, what are some top challenges you face when working with legit brands? Jeff.
Challenges. Coming up with new things to say when you do an ad for them every week for 3 months. You have the basic line, and you want to mix it up a little bit, but you have to come up with creative ways to say the same thing. Like the people at vidIQ and TubeBuddy who make all those videos about how to succeed on YouTube and just keep doing the same video over and over and over and over again, but they have to have new titles and new. I think the thumbnails are probably easier than the subject. So it's just coming up with new stuff to say.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge I have when working with legit brands, particularly from working with brands that are new to the influencer space, is they just don't know how to work with a YouTuber, and they potentially want me to make a video that wouldn't be very good. They're like, Chris, we want you to do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, nobody wants to watch that video. Like, if that's the video you want me to make, I'm not really interested. Now, if you'd like me to make a video where I do this, 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 and this, then I'd love to. And so just like on that education about like what's a video that people actually want to watch as opposed to what's the video that they want to make. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the giveaway.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, Phil Explorers. So in every episode, I always give away a Yellow Productions crew shirt if you can answer one of my questions. And my question to you is one of the scam emails that we showed from Jeff's inbox from a company called Coral. They listed a country that was from. What country did that person say they were from for coral? And if you're the first person to answer that question, Jeff, you know, I bet you know. That's right. Yeah. If you're the first person to answer that, then you will win a Yellow Productions cruise shirt shipped to you anywhere in the world. If you don't get to win one and you want to pick one up, you can head over to the Yellow Productions shop. You'll find a link in the description right there. And if you wonder when is the next live stream, you can head over to the Yellow Productions update, sign up for my email list. And if you want to check out more from Jeff Graham, well, then you can head over to the Photo Walks TV channel. The .com link is in the description below. All right, and
we love.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
All right, we have a winner, and the winner is Jamie Hoff. Congratulations, you were the first person to say Estonia, which is indeed where that coral email was from. Who was number 2? But didn't get to win? Alfred Solo Travels, that was you. And Tamala, you were number 3. But Jamie, send me an email to chris@yellow-productions.com with your size and your address, and I'll get that shirt heading out right to you. All right.
And then let's all go to Estonia. What do you think?
That sounds good. All right. Group trip to Estonia. Let's do it. Jeff, fantastic having you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. Do you have any final words you'd like to share as we close out here?
Just remember that even if you think nobody's interested, somebody is. And so just go out there, give your best pitch, and you might be surprised. Just like all these horrible emails, you're going to be a lot better than them, but somebody's going to say yes. So go for it.
All right. Well, fellow explorers, with that, as usual, I won't say goodbye because I and Jeff are going to see you in the next video.